Okay, there we go. What's up? Just stuff for Tony. He also sent me an F for myself. So I got those. I got the gallery airbrushes, and I'm gonna be. I hadn't talked to him in years, but we've always been friendly. And he approached me years ago about being wanting to sponsor me. And at the time, I was hesitant because I didn't know what that involved. Like, do I have to only use Badger products? Do I only have to use Badger airbrushes? Do I only have to get to, he's like, so when he reached out to me again, Ken Badger saw my post about the gallery airbrushes I bought. So he called me on Friday, I think it was Friday. Thursday or Friday, anyway. Sorry, my brain's not all there because like I said, I'm getting sick. Anyway, Ken Badger called me. It's like, hey man, so I got some new airbrushes. It's like, I guess you don't like American made. They go, well, it's like, I got a bunch of your chromes, but they all need parts and they're all, they're not, it's just cheaper to buy a new airbrush than to buy parts. And he's like, well, I know we talked years ago about me sponsoring you, and it never really went anywhere. And I go, yeah, I was kind of hesitant because I didn't know what that entailed. I didn't want to be tied to one brand of airbrush and paint and all that stuff. He goes, well, he's like, I don't tie, it's like I have a bunch of artists and they use all sorts of stuff, but and he's like, if I sponsor you, I do, prefer to use my airbrushes. I was like, no, I get it. So we chatted, and so I'm going to be a Badger sponsored artist, which is kind of cool. So I gave him a list of things that I would like. Obviously, Steiner Red is my go-to primer. He's going to send me some airbrushes. He's going to send me some other stuff. The one thing he's not going to send me are any of the Minterra paints because he can't keep them in stock. So I think I used them once or twice a long time ago. I do like the ghost tints. I use those all the time. But I've really never used the Minterra paints too much. So I was kind of bummed that, I don't know, maybe someone will show up. I don't know. So anyway, I'm going to be a Badger go-to airbrush for 3 or 4 years. And then they were just hard to get. They were hard to get the parts for. I was telling him it's like, if I'm in the middle of painting and I need a part, or like I bend the needle too bad that I can't fix it. It's just better for me to go to Hobby Town or Hobby Lobby and I can get an Iwata Neo for $70. I don't have to mail order. I don't have to wait. So he's like, well, I'll send you some airbrush. I'll send you spare parts. I will also have a coupon code I can give out to my viewers that they can get a slight discount. I will get a small kickback, which is kind of nice. So maybe I'll make a few bucks off of it. But yeah, so I was kind of excited about that. So it's something that Ken approached me again. Probably, gosh, the last time I saw him at Wonderfest was pre-COVID. So maybe 2018, 2019 was the last time I saw him at Wonderfest, and he'd always try to give me free stuff. He'd like, here, have an airbrush, have some. Like, no, let me pay for it. He was still, so if I bought like a bottle of primer, he'd give me 3. So here's 3 for 1. Or if I bought an airbrush, he'd give me a second one for free. So he's always been good to me. He preached like, here's one of my chromes here. It's just dead in the water. It's all beat up. The tip's broken. It's just beat to hell. He's like, well, send those into us and we'll refurbish them for you too. So I'm going to send them all my Badger airbrushes, and they're going to refurb them. Those will basically be brand new. So I'm going to add to my arsenal of airbrushes. At least I've got like 15 already. I'll probably have 25 airbrushes by the time I'm done with this. But anyway, so it's kind of cool. I'm glad he reached out. I hadn't talked to him in a long time. He's a nice guy, good company. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. Okay, so I'm getting sick. I don't know if you can hear my voice, but I was feeling fine yesterday morning. About noon, I could feel my throat starting to get a little sore, a little tight. And sure enough, I woke at about last night around midnight. I was like, man, I just don't feel well. So we'll see how much I work today. This is all for Tony. So I'm doing a Talia kit. He actually bought this from, no, Badger does not make Iwata. Badger's his own company. They have a full line of airbrushes, but they're all American made, which is really nice. And they're actually, like, their most expensive airbrush is probably $130 maybe. I don't know. It's been a long time. The chromes, the reason I like the chromes, I like the feel of the chrome. This is the chrome right here. The one thing I wish it did have was a Mac valve. That's the gallery hairbrushes, and the Procon is the Mac valve, because that is like, because my air, I actually need to replace this air valve. I should probably do that soon, because I cannot adjust my air pressure here at the bench. It's busted. It's been busted for years. I can't see the numbers. It's completely fogged. So I need to replace that. But so the chrome, I bought my first chrome from Ken here in Dallas. We used to have there's a company called Squadron, and they deal mainly in military models and stuff. But they were based here in Dallas, and they had a show every year called Squadron Eagle Quest. It was a model competition. It was a 3-day event, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And so one year Ken was there, and he was part of the Eagle Quest thing. If you bought like the deluxe ticket, which got you access all 3 days, but it got you access to the Squadron warehouse where you could go in and shop at. I was 30% off retail. Anyway, you got a steep discount. I never bought models there. I'd go buy all their Tamiya tape. This was back when I was only doing Gundam. So I'd buy all their Tamiya tape. That's when I bought my first Vallejo paints there. Anyway, so Ken was there one year. I didn't know who he was. He had a table set up in the warehouse with all his airbrushes, and I picked up the chrome, and I really like the feel of it. It's like, oh man, this feel. I like the weight of it. It's heavy. I like that feeling. I feel like I have more control with the heavier airbrush. When it's too light, I feel like my shakiness comes through the airbrush more. So I like a heavier airbrush. And he was like, oh, most people don't like that. I was like, and it's got this, like, it's as silly as it's got this little plastic thing on the bottom, which is great for your finger rest. So I get less finger strain doing it with an airbrush like this. Like I said, I wish I had a Mac valve, but they sell a chrome deluxe kit, and then you get the airbrush, and you get a 0.3 needle and tip and a 0.2 needle and tip. So you basically get 2 airbrushes for once. I think at the show it was like, I don't know, it was like $70, 65. It was really cheap, and I got home and I loved it. It's like, oh man, this thing. Where's my parts bin? Here's my parts bin. Here's amongst, even though I have all these airbrushes up here, here are all the carcasses of my other airbrushes. So I've got 3 chromes. Yeah, so I've got 3 altogether. So here's the other 2. Here's all like parts. This is HPCS, which is the exact airbrush Tony sent me. So I opened up the package from Tony yesterday, and there's an airbrush in there. So I was like, did you send me an airbrush? Like, he's like, yeah, and then you got sponsored. I go, well, I'll still use it. But yeah, this is my parts bin. Like, I've got needles in here. I don't even know what size these needles are. There's no label on. I think this is for chrome. Hell, I don't know. So I'll send these in with all the parts to Badger, and they'll refurb them and get them looking like new and all that stuff. But yeah, so here's my graveyard of airbrush parts, soon to be added to from these other ones over here that are basically just need parts. But anyway, yeah. So Badger's got a full line of airbrushes. Like I said, my favorite's the chrome. I just like the way it feels. Now he does have 1 year. So when he was going to Wonderfest, he would team up with George, which is fine. Sorry if I'm snorting and stuff. I got a lot of snot in my throat from being sick. But 8 in the morning and go till 4 or 5 in the afternoon, and they always teamed up. So it was always a Blackheart model, and then you could either buy the package where you get the airbrush and a compressor, or you could just get the airbrush and no. Anyway, every year I would buy, like, if I did a class and I did their class, it was like $250. It was so cheap, or less. It was under $300. So you get the class, a full day of instruction by one of the top painters, at Wonderfest, and there's usually some sort of horror, subject matter stuff I normally wouldn't paint. I actually have one, a bust that I would love to finish. I need to strip her and start over. It's a beautiful sculpt. Anyway. 1 year, Ken was debuting like their latest and greatest airbrush, and he's like, here. He just gave me one. He's like, here, try this on. Let me know what you think of it. And I didn't like it, to be honest. I don't remember why, but I remember I wasn't a fan of it. But it had a Mac valve on it, so that was a plus. So we'll see what he sends me. I gave him a list of things that, like, Style Res for sure. He's gonna give me. There's like 15 colors. I only use black, white, and gray. but there's a skin tone. I actually have a big thing of silver Stano res. So he's gonna send me a bunch of that, airbrushes. Who knows? I gave him a list of things. What, you know, it's like anything you want me to talk about or anything like that. And I told him, like, look, if there's something I don't like, I'm gonna tell you. He's like, no, I need to know that, because you know that's how we improve our products. Artists who work with our stuff on a daily basis or a lot, you know, if they don't tell us what they really think about something, we just think, oh, everything's great. They can't improve. He was working on, he showed me a prototype. It was very, very rough years ago. A pistol grip airbrush. I don't know if they ever made that. But it was basically, it was interesting. It was like basically a chrome, and they had like sculpted with putty and everything, a pistol grip on it. So they're trying to do a pistol grip. Yeah, so I was using the light flesh tone forever, but then I couldn't get the big bottles anymore, so I stopped using it. It was just those little bottles. I need the big stuff. You know, I need these big bottles so I was finally able to get some grays and blacks from George Stevens and a Blackheart model. I think they actually make a 32 ounce, but this is a 16 ounce. So I bought 3 of these, and you know, 2 or 3 of these will last me a year. And you don't want to keep these too much longer anyway. So anyway, that's what's going on with that. So it'll be a sponsored Badger artist, which is pretty cool. Tony sent me an Iwata HPCS, and now I have that airbrush, and I got these 2 gallery airbrushes that I just bought. So I told Ken, like, you want to start plugging your airbrushes? I need to get them pretty quick, because I'm starting some projects. I'm gonna break out the new airbrushes. So he's like, I'll work on it. So anyway, this is Talia. This is a kit that Tony had bought from another client of mine who it came up in my queue. I was like, hey, it's time to paint your Talia. He's like, oh man, I totally forgot you even had that. It's like, I don't have my Batman collection anymore. I got rid of it all, so you can just send it back to me. And they go, well, would you be interested in selling it, because I'd really like to paint her? And he's like, yeah. So I reached out, and then I don't know, I think he sold her for like, it was cheap. It was cheaper than what they sold for originally. But Tony bought her. It's actually a really good sculpt. There's a few little things I'm going to do the kit just a week for me, so I may do that. I may try to glue her together and see if she'll go back in the box. I don't know if she will. I think they're kits. Let me double check. He messaged me this morning, and he told me the price, and it's like, well, you can say they're this much, and you can make some money. I was like, no, I'm not gonna try to make money off my 10 viewers. Let me find out if their kits are painted. He may be watching. I don't know. He pops in every once in a while. Gabriel Pascalone. So he's got two left. $670 plus shipping. I'm assuming they'd be shipping from China. Oh, it's printed. It's a printed, but it's not. He says printed but solid. It's not solid. The head's hollow. The hands are solid. This is not. It's not solid. I can tell you that. At least the head's not solid. Yeah, the legs are. Yeah, it's not solid. It's not. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that this is. Well, that may be solid. The feet are solid. The head is hollow. For sure, the head is hollow. You can hear it. Oh, I lost my fucking. I lost my